Newspapers have habits. Each title has its quirks. Nowhere is this more clearly demonstrated than on the front page of the Daily Express. I don't think any other paper displays quite such a narrow focus. The Duchess of Cornwall, Princess Diana, Madeleine McCann, immigrants' house prices and magical medical cures are pretty much the only things on their agenda. In the first 6 months of 2013, Kate Windsor, née Middleton, graced the cover 26 times. That's 14% of their available covers. In the same time frame, 11 of the headlines were about a rise in house prices. February 7th, house prices on rise again. March 2nd, house prices are up again. March 18th, house prices up £142 a day. April 1st, house prices set to soar. April 26th, house prices to rise by £10,000. May 7th, house prices to soar by 30%. May 20th, house prices at record high. May 31st, house prices surge again. June 14th, record high for house prices. June 19th, house prices rise by £9,000. June 29th, house prices keep rising. When you hear them listed like that, and especially when you see how tightly bunched some of them are, it's hard not to characterise the newspaper as one of those madmen you sometimes see at the bus stop. You know the one I mean. He won't stop repeating himself until someone, anyone, acknowledges his existence, despite the fact that he's only got one thing to say. I see house prices are on the rise again. You look at your feet and pretend you haven't heard him. Did you hear me? He says. I said house prices are up again. You check your phone, hoping against hope that there'll be a new text message that deserves your full attention. £142 a day, I reckon. You want to look up. You want to see if he looks as crazy as he sounds. But if you do, you might make eye contact. You can't make eye contact. He'll reel you in if you make eye contact. Soar, I tell you, he continues. They're going to soar. House prices, I mean. I reckon we could be looking at 30 grand. You can't resist sneaking a peek. Against your better judgment, you look up. He catches your eye. I'll tell you what, he leans in. That Princess Kate, she's a bit of all right, isn't she? Whoa! What does it mean, anyway? If house prices have risen by 10 grand in April and 9 grand in June, have they risen by 19 grand in total? Or is the June headline telling us that they were 1 grand out in April? I think what it really means is that the Express have done some research that reveals they sell more copies whenever they run that headline. And let's be honest, it is pretty much one headline. And as a result, someone has been tasked with the job of scouring every survey by every mortgage broker and finding the best way to spin it. But the Express really comes into its own when it comes to the miracle cure story. In the first 6 months of 2013, more than 1 in 4 of the Daily Express's front pages carried this kind of story. More than 1 in 4. The first one came on the 7th of January, with the headline, Super Pill is Key to Living Longer. It's a story about a pill that the paper gleefully tells us is made out of tomatoes, and which could hold the key to beating arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, and even cancer. It's funny how the word could has crept into the story when the headline seems so much more certain, isn't it? It probably won't come as much of a surprise to you to learn that when the story quotes some of those connected to the research, their message feels a whole lot less certain. We think these results are good news and potentially very significant, but we need more trials to see if they translate into fewer heart attacks and strokes, says one. It is too early to come to any firm conclusions, says another. And I can't help feeling that it probably would have been better if the Express's headline writer had taken his advice. There's something about putting Super Pill is Key to Living Longer in massive lettering on the front of your paper that suggests a firm conclusion has been reached, or jumped to. Anyway, this early story is perfect for the Express as it addresses most of its favourite illnesses. By my reckoning, it only really needed to offer a cure for dementia to collect the set, because while heart disease is up there, it's really arthritis, dementia, diabetes and cancer that dominate proceedings. Allow me to try and demonstrate the full scale of the paper's approach by going through them one illness at a time. Let's start with arthritis. How's this for a sequence of front-page headlines? January 21st, simple test to spot arthritis early. January 30th, wonder jelly that can help beat arthritis. February the 8th, single jab can beat arthritis. February the 16th, new jab